Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Hold on, let me get moved. My green screen messing with my head. All right, there we go. Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. I've got one headline about a potential crypto company IPO, and then I've got another headline on the Japan inflation and the rate decision going forward. So we will have to dive on into that after we get you prepped for some success today. I do have that stock heat map pulled up. It's looking quite neutral so far. We do have Apple sitting up at 2.18 from its close yesterday, and the pre-market sitting up 0.08. We've got Nvidia sitting down 0.58, and in the pre-market this morning is sitting up 0.26. We got Berkshire Hathaway up 0.52, and the pre-market sitting down 0.05 so far. We've got Amazon sitting down 0.16, and in the pre-market seeing some slight sell-off down 0.3. We've got Eli Lilly sitting down at 0.45% so far. And in that pre-market sitting down just 0.29. We've got ExxonMobil sitting up a 0.63, and the pre-market seeing a little bit heavier of a sell-off than the rest of the market so far, down 0.94. We do have Tesla in that same position, sitting down 0.66 in the pre-market, down 0.634 on its close. We do have P&G sitting up 1.13 off of its close and sitting up 0.04 in the pre-market. We've got Microsoft sitting quite neutral, down 0.19%, and in the pre-market down 0.14. We've also got Google sitting in that slightly neutral range, down 0.6 from its close, and the pre-market only down 0.1%. We've got Meta sitting up 0.33 off of its close, and in the pre-market up 0.35%. We've got things looking quite neutral on the crypto side of things as well. We've got Bitcoin sitting up 0.39. We've got Ethereum sitting up 0.98. XRP, which had surpassed Tether in market cap yesterday, back below Tether in market cap and up 0.41. We've got Solana sitting down 0.24, BNB sitting up 0.64. We've got Doge sitting up 1.28, Cardano sitting up 1.26, Tron sitting up 1.01. We've got Chainlink sitting down 0.54, Avalanche sitting down 0.59, Sui sitting down at 0.97, and Stellar Lumen sitting down 0.47. So things looking quite neutral in preparation for this morning's data. And that data drop for this morning will be coming out here soon. That is going to be at 8:30 Eastern Time. We will have that core inflation rate month over month, which is looking to head in the wrong direction, was 0.2, looking at 0.3. We've got the core inflation rate year over year looking to come down just a little bit from 3.2 to 3.1. Still not an amazing number. We do have CPI looking to head in that wrong direction as well, from 315 to 317. So definitely some bad data on that CPI as well if we do get forecast. If we do come under forecast on the month over month or that CPI for core inflation or for that CPI, you might see a little bit of an upside move off of that. We do have inflation rate month over month with all goods looking to come down just a little bit from 0.4 to 0.3, and that year over year staying flat. We will be getting a crude oil information as well today, as well as another speech from Fed Chair Powell. So definitely looking for a bit of a market move this morning. We also have a few other Fed speeches from Fed Bostic and Fed Waller coming out this afternoon. That will be at noon Eastern time for Fed Bostic, and Fed Waller will be speaking at 5:05 Eastern time. Other than that, we don't really have any other heavy data for the day. Not even in other markets. Japan does have PPI month over month and year over year, but it's not looking like it'll be much of a market mover. It is looking to kind of hold steady. All right, let's hop over to those fear and greeds. We do have that stock market still sitting in neutral, no change from yesterday, as we didn't see much change in those prices either, except for Tesla getting smacked around. We do have crypto back in fear. It is very, very light fear, down just a point in 46. For that liquidation heat map. Let me get that refreshed. It's been open for a while. We do have a very, very hot spot to the bottom side of us now. That hot spot is starting at 94,200 and runs all the way up to 94,695. So almost 94,700 there. We do have a light hot spot to the top side of us, sitting at about 97,156, and again to the top side at 97,977. So almost 98,000 there. Definitely an area I've talked about wanting to turn into some support on a shorter term time frame. That's kind of where we rejected off of the past couple of days. We'll zoom out to that 3-day, kind of take a look at that top side liquidity, that if we do grab this bottom side liquidity, we get some decent data. It is a bit of a mixed bag, but if you see some of the things coming out a little positive, you might get that push back to the upside on. That 3 days still looking at that same range, with 94,100 being that bottom and all the way up to 94,500. You do have a nice little hot spot sitting at about 99,300 as well for that top side. Take a look at that 1 week and you can kind of see that we're sitting in the very same position. Most of that liquidity is now to the bottom side of us, all the way up to the weekly, and you do have some light hot spots sitting at those spots we talked about before. And again, for that 2 week, you do have that very, very hot spot right underneath us, which would be an easy grab to launch off of back to this top side liquidity at about 103,000. Starts at 102,700 and runs all the way up to 103,000. That's a key area I've wanted to see turn into some support for the macro so that we can get that strong push back to the upside. All right, let's say good morning to the chat. I see plenty of people in here so far. We've got Knox Bill, we've got Kyle Fields in the chat, we've got Al Jr., Duality Crypto, and Bobby Yaz in here as well. I see Alexandra G and Donato Cabrera. Good morning to you all. Hope you're getting that caffeine in and getting prepped for the day's moves, because it might be a little bit volatile. We do have that nice hot spot of liquidity sitting right to the bottom side of us. That will be this area right here at our golden pocket, where most of that liquidity is residing. So definitely an easy grab. Kind of goes all the way down to that strong line that I've got drawn out there. I see Randy a bite in the chat as well. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day. If we do get that pushback to the upside, I would like to see us turn this 96,400 into some support on the shorter term time frame. That is a strong area of resistance that we've rejected off of twice now, and that's what leads me to believe that we might push back down just a little bit further this morning. You do have your MACD, which has been rejecting off of our indicator line and looking to head more to the bottom side. You have money flow also coming out here, but it is looking to try to turn back positive. You do have that prime oscillator as well, which it just switched red as your volume is coming down just a little bit. So it might be that quick grab of bottom side liquidity before we really get that push off of our golden pocket and back up to some levels. Really going to depend on the mixed bag of data and just how mixed it is. If we do see some of those shorter term time frames coming out with some more positive, that's where you might get that nice pushback up to the upside, and you do have a nice little range at about 97,000, which is going to be that 50% line on a fib retracement drawn from the macro. You do have a nice little bit of an order block that we've made here where we've done quite a bit of battle before. Got a nice little one starting from here, nice little area here as well where we got quite a bit of a battle between the bears and the bulls. So if you do get that pushback to the upside, might be a nice little range to try to get back in if you do see that moving in either direction there. You have that 1 hour looking like it's trying to push back up here, but that MACD, that prime oscillator has a little bit of a little more room to run before you might need to see some cool off there, especially with that money flow holding on some selling pressure here. As you can kind of see, it is quite red, but it is getting a slight curve back to the upside here. Might be looking for some buying pressure to roll over from our shorter term time frame into this hourly chart here, and definitely looking like we might start seeing some reversal signals if we come up a little bit higher here. Let's zoom on out to that 4 hour and take a look at what we're seeing. 4 hour also getting that nice curvature here on both the MACD and our prime oscillator. We had a reversal signal flashback here yesterday when we broke below that 95,300 level I've talked about for quite a while, and then we got that nice push off of the 95,300. We rejected quite nicely off of this area that I've wanted to see, want to now see turned into some support, and are looking to just kind of range here for a little bit as we get this money flow to kind of come back in on shorter term time frames. You do have that money flow kind of rolling over a bit here on the 4 hour as we're waiting on this cross of our MACD line and our indicator line on the bottom side. Would really need that money flow to come in on the higher term time frame to really push things a whole lot higher. We have been ranging quite a bit, so to see some continued ranging is kind of nice to see, especially since you're cooling off some of the higher term time frame oscillators, and you're also getting a nice cool off on our fear and greed as well. Just waiting for money flow to kind of come back in. You do have that daily looking like it needs a little more room to kind of range before you get that push to the upside. You have one reversal signal that has flashed. Prime oscillator still sitting a bit red here as we are seeing money flow holding quite steady, just kind of going back and forth from buying to selling pressure as we've kind of sat in this range here. Been in a bit of a range for the past week. We did have a brief flash above that 99,000 and a brief break below that 95,000 that I've talked about for quite a while. But besides that, we've held quite steady in this range. This is the range that we're going to need to break out of next, and that's going to need to come with some liquidity that rolls over from the shorter term time frames and really comes strongly into these 4 hour and daily charts. All right, I see Randy a bite saying good morning. The coffee's good this morning. I haven't had any coffee. I have been running on a nice energy drink for the morning. I've been trying to tamper my caffeine intake, but when I was at the gym, I definitely needed a little extra caffeine to get through my workout. All right. Do we have any alt requests for today? I can take a look at those after I hop into some of these news articles. I've only got a few of them that I wanted to take a look at. One of those big ones is going to be that U.S.-Japan battle on their currencies. We do have the yen falls after Bank of Japan's Udeya vows to keep rates flat despite soaring inflation. Interest rate hikes are pretty much the only thing the Bank of Japan can do to change the course of inflation. Udeya ruled them out. The US dollar JPY pair shifted gears to the upside Wednesday morning, floating near 153.50 as traders were reacting to the Bank of Japan's Kazuo Udeya's fresh comments. Speaking in Parliament, Japan's top central banker said that officials don't plan to hike interest rates after monetary policy in any material way. The news knocked the Japanese yen as forex speculators had been hoping to see Udeya lean in favor of a much anticipated rate hike. Instead, they got this. We are deeply aware that the rise more than 2% in prices of fresh foods and other commonly purchased products are negatively impacting people's lives, Udeya told Parliament. Inflation in Japan rose to 3.6% in December from a year earlier, topping estimates of 3% growth. Rises in the price of foods, including fresh foods, won't necessarily be temporary, and there are chances that this will impact people's mindsets and price expectations, he said. Udeya's comments come after the Bank of Japan decided to hike borrowing costs to 0.5%, a level not seen since 2018. But the yen didn't play to the tune of higher interest rates. The upswing was short-lived and the US dollar was back in charge. Looking ahead, the dollar-yen pair is in for some action today as the US will release its consumer price index for January. The data is expected to show inflation rose 2.9% from a year earlier. And this is definitely something I'll be keeping my eye on. If we do see that US dollar gaining some more strength against that Japanese yen, then that chance for the rest of the unraveling from the Japanese carry trade kind of lowers just a bit. We didn't see that last time because the US dollar was very strong against the yen. It was having some weakness, as you did see that rate hike from Japan, highly anticipated, with a multiple coming after, and this changes the outlook for that pair quite heavily. I will be keeping my eye on this one going forward. And we do have another potential IPO coming out of the crypto space. BitGo plans to go public as early as Q2 2025. A major U.S. crypto custodian, BitGo, plans to go public via an initial public offering as early as Q2 2025, according to Bloomberg News. BitGo was last valued at $1.75 billion during a $10 million Series C funding round in August 2023 that would fund acquisitions. The round was significant, giving in that it was only a minor down round during a time when venture funding had dried up following a catastrophic credit contagion effect during the previous years of bear market. It was also the first financing firm had raised since 2017 when it secured $42.5 million in a Series B round that led Valor Equities Partners, notably with participation from PayPal COO turned U.S. crypto czar David Sachs. In 2021, BitGo was on track to go public by an acquisition with Galaxy Digital. The deal was terminated in August 2022 due to BitGo's failure to deliver audited financial statements, Galaxy said at the time. The deal, had it gone through, would have valued the firm at $1.2 billion. This is a developing story that will be updated as the block learns more. I'll definitely be watching this one. We have been seeing a lot of news coming out of the crypto space where these crypto companies will be launching on your TradFi side of things, giving these people a better opportunity to expose themselves to some of these crypto gains. I know there was some news the other day about Riot and some possible acquisitions as well. I didn't do a news article on that because there was plenty of other news to talk about. So this one I will keep my eye on as well. You do see the potential for Circle, who is the maker of USDC, to be IPOing as well, and that will definitely be an IPO I will be grabbing up as soon as it hits that peak. I'll probably sell it off and wait for a confirmed bottom, because sometimes that IPO launch is a little bit volatile. I will probably do the same thing with this one. Wait for that launch, hit that higher price target, wait for that sell off, and then rebuy back in and just hold that more for a long term. I did that with Reddit last year and I made quite a bit of money. All right, I was taking a look at gold. You do see it losing some of its strength from its all-time highs. It has been on quite a trend to the upside here, and to see it pull back just a little bit as we are seeing the market uncertainty is not a bad thing, especially since it has exploded quite heavily to the upside here. Let me get that from the bottom where I drew things out, and as you can see just from this latest push to the upside, that's a 7% move to the top side, quite large in the TradFi markets. So to see that pull back to at least the 50% line here on a retracement would be a healthy move to make. You have a bit of a bouncing area here right below us at about 2,876, where you might see a little bit of buying pressure on the way down. This 236 is also quite, this 382 is also quite a strong area at 2,861, where you might see a little more buying happening to push price up just a bit before we really continue this downtrend. Let's move this to a higher term time frame here so you can kind of see how toppy these oscillators are. Your MACD is finally getting that curvature there. Let me get that to the demonstration mode. As you can kind of see, we have been in a heavy trend to the upside, and you're finally starting to see some topping signals here. Your MACD finally getting that curvature, looking back to that indicator line as these candles here have turned from heavy green to light green, so indicating a little bit of some sell off. Your money flow is also looking like it has peaked out just a little bit, making a lower high here on that money flow, which was buying pressure. So looking to start seeing a bit of some sell off here. You have some nice you do have a bit of a divergence here that is stacked up as well. You see a reversal signal that got ignored from way down here before we really made that push back to the top side. So looking at this curvature here on our prime oscillator, as we've just switched back to the red and your money flow is also slowing up just a bit, indicates that you might see a bit of a heavier sell off on gold. I have also been watching copper as well. It has been in a nice trend to the upside. I did take a trade last week on copper back up to this $4.69, where I thought we might see a bit of some resistance. That daily looking a bit toppy here as your money flow is kind of coming out just a little bit, but your volume is looking to hold quite steady here. So a quick switch back to the upside is definitely a possible move to make, especially as copper has been getting more expensive to import. I see a request for ENA. I can most definitely take a look at that. Good morning to you, Banana Republic. Anyone else have any alt requests they'd like me to take a look at? Go ahead, drop those in the chat. I will take a look at those after I do this TradFi rundown. We did have Silver Days XRP coming in as well. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day so far. BC with the soul glowing looking. Thank you, Anthony Soprano. Good morning to you. I hope you're having a great day so far. I've been having a great morning myself, so definitely riding on this nice positive energy that going to the gym has got me. I really started that going back up. Maybe that's where the glow's coming from. So we do have that 4 hour looking like it has a bit of room to run to the top side. If you can see this buying pressure really start picking back up here, volume started to falter just a little bit as your money flow started coming back in. So that does indicate a little bit of some selling pressure here, but definitely looking for that curvature to continue on our MACD on the top side, and your prime oscillator also getting that last bit, that nice curve back to the upside as well. Might see a last little push down before you really see that buying pressure coming back in here. I would look at about that $4.50 range for a potential bottoming on that. You also have a nice little area back up here at about $4.56, which we did see some heavy buying pressure at. So a bit of a range for that buying opportunity. Let's get that drawn out here as a green box so you can kind of see that buying area. Let's get that as green. Ugly green. Let's go to the other green. There we go. All right, let's get that locked as well so we don't accidentally move it. This is a nice little buying range on copper, especially since it has been in quite an uptrend. I see Paul Caruso saying good morning, brother BC. Good morning to you. Username saying my B3 is up, dropping those rib emojis. Good morning to you, username. What is B3 that you're looking at? Is that on the crypto side of things? Is this one of your degen plays, sir? I can take a look at it if it is on TradingView. Just gotta let me know if it's a crypto or if it's more on that TradFi. As you can see, once we got into this buying range here on a shorter term time frame, we did come up to this 382 here on our fib retracement that I've had drawn out for quite a while. You do have that MACD breaking our indicator line on the top side, but it is doing it with heavy curvature back down here. This move back to the top side as well on the prime oscillator is sitting light red. You do have that money flow as well sitting right behind there, a little bit hard to see, but it is rolling back over here. So looking like this 382 is going to be a bit of a resistance area. Maria Romani says it's a crypto base gaming token. I don't recommend it. All right, well, if you don't recommend it, that's a strong recommendation coming from you. I'm still gonna take a look at it though, because I've never heard of it before, and maybe there's a nice little short to be made on it if you're not recommending it. I see that you're up, but definitely could be at some top end signals there. So we'll take a look at that because I don't have a whole lot of alt requests. Anyone else have any alt requests? Go ahead and drop them in the chat. I didn't have a whole lot more I was looking at this morning. All right, let's hop over to silver because it is losing a key level I wanted to see hold. The same way that gold has been losing some strong levels after its giant pushback to the upside. Let's get this back on a higher term time frame here so you can kind of see what we're looking at for those prime oscillator and our MACD. As we have been in this bit of a downtrend, we are starting to see some reversal signals start flashing, volume looking head back to the upside, prime oscillator going from light red to heavy red here as we are trying to find our bottom. I would look at this golden pocket being that strong bouncing area. That's going to be $31 and about 95 cents there to hit that pushback to the upside. See Crypto Billy asking for ADA. Good morning to you, Crypto Billy. I dropped his morning motivational video up at the top of the chat. Go ahead and check that out. He does a great job on those. I like start my morning off with that nice positive energy right after the gym. It's a great little morning routine I got going, and I really look forward to those videos. As you can kind of see here, we are cooling off on these oscillators. The MACD has been making pushes back to the indicator line the entire time it's been on its downtrend. You got that pushback up here as well, and a pushback up here, and we've been rejecting off of it, waiting for that heavy curvature on our MACD line to really hit that break above. If you do see gold continuing to sell off, that's where I'd look for that golden pocket on silver to really see that strong curvature on our MACD and our prime oscillator back to the upside. 1 hour looking quite toppy as well here on the MACD. You do have that break below our indicator line. It is moving a bit sideways though, as our money flow is starting to come back in on our shorter term time frame. We do have a second reversal that is now flashed on this, but that's where I'd kind of look for that money flow to really bleed over from that shorter term time frame to come back in on these higher term time frames to get that pushback up to this line that has been resistance and both support on silver for quite a while. It is a long running line which we've done a bit of battle with. Got that nice little pushback off of it, nice break off of it, and when we lost it here, got that last little push up, we really lost it heavily. So looking to really reclaim that range before we can get back up to that $33.33, which is my next really topping signal target for silver. Just looking to really hold this golden pocket here. You have that 15-minute looking like it's got a bit more room to run sideways here as we really hit some cool offs. Your money flow is very heavily red here, as you can see, and there's some continued selling pressure. You have that curvature back to the bottom side on our prime oscillator. Your MACD did just break our indicator line here to the top side, but really not getting that money flow coming in quite heavily to really continue that as a push to the upside. Thanks for the chance to tell how I feel about the community, says Jesse Gulak. Did you do a little appearance on Billy Goat Tales last night, Jesse? I never get a chance to listen to those lives. I am in bed at old man times. I wake up super early, so I go to bed super early as well. So I always give that a listen the next day. If you can drop that in the chat for people so that they can take a listen to that Billy Goat Tales from last night, it would be greatly appreciated. We have BTC on a 5-minute time frame. I can take a look at that as well. Alright, I was looking at the Dixie, and it looks like we're losing this platinum pocket here that I've talked about for a while, and really breaking it with some momentum. You've got your prime oscillator looking quite red as your MACD just broke our zero line and indicator line, looking to break that as well. You have a bit of a CME gap here down at the lows of 107.40. I would look for some lower prices, especially if we do see some continued weakness coming out with today's data. Your daily is waiting for that cross on our MACD, as we did just see a nice little break below our platinum pocket, which has been a strong area of resistance. Your prime oscillator is green here, but getting a roll back over. Your volume is looking quite steady, but it is holding in that red, so looking for some continued sell off on that. Thank you, Billy, for dropping that link in the chat for everyone. Go ahead and check that Billy Goat Tales out from last night if you did not give that a listen live. I will be listening to it as I do some snow removal today, because we're getting smacked here in Nebraska with some snow, and I'm ready to get out of the house for a change and go make some money. All right, we had ENA requested, so let's hop over to that. ENA. ENA, it's in the game. I know that's not actually that, but you know what I mean. All right, we do have that up 1 hour, looking like we've got a bit of room to run, but let's zoom this on out to the daily here. It's been quite a while since I've taken a look at ENA, and it's looking to potentially break that platinum pocket here on your higher term time frame. You have some nice curvature on your MACD, but it does have a bit of width from our indicator line here. You are getting a heavy rollover on your prime oscillator as well. True 7 has clipped. Volume is heavy selling pressure though, so really going to need to hold that range. You do have this being a fair value gap from before we got that push to the upside. So let's get that rectangle drawn out here. All right, from the previous candle body to the next one there, and we're sitting right above that midline on our fair value gap. Let's switch that to purple because that's not a buying range, that's a fair value gap. All right, we do have that midline coming in at about 41.40, which would be a nice little bouncing point to watch. I see Lunar Beaches Crypto in the chat. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Jeffrey Stone Cipher as well. Good morning, Jeffrey Stone Cipher. Dropping those orders in the chat. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great morning and prepared for this heavy data drop day, because we might be seeing a bit of some volatility. Let's zoom this on in to our hourly and see what we're looking at. You have that prime oscillator looking for a bit of a move to the upside back to this platinum pocket here, which might be a resistance area again, especially with how sideways that prime oscillator is moving and our volume still being some heavy selling pressure here. You do have your MACD, which just crossed that indicator line on the bottom side of things, so could still see some continued sell off once we get back up to this platinum pocket, because there's a lot of selling pressure underneath this now. We got a ton of snow tonight, snowmageddon to happen. There was a snowball fight. Now you're speaking my language there, username. I always get out there and play in the snow. I am still a child at heart, and I spent a lot of my childhood in Oklahoma without snow. So when I first moved here to Nebraska and we got like 1.5 feet of snow, I took my girlfriend out, we went sledding, we made a big snowman, and then we had a bit of a snowball fight with some of her younger siblings. So I still do that. I will probably do that here later today. I know my girl's son does not have school. They canceled that last night. So after snow removal, I might go have a snowball fight and then make a snowman with them if I can convince them to do that. I still like to find a childlike joy out of life sometimes. All right, let's take a look at that 15-minute. As you can see here, it is looking a bit toppy. We have made that push back towards that zero line, but it is faltering quite heavily here as we've approached it and getting that nice heavy curve back towards our indicator line as our prime oscillator just switched from green to heavy red. So looking for a bit of some continued sell off as your volume faltered in that buying pressure and is slowing down from red to light green and switching back to light red here. So if we see that continued sell off, that's where I'd look for that midline of a fair value gap to kind of get that pushback, a strong pushback up here as we cool off these oscillators. All right, that was ENA there. We could kind of see us if we turn that back into some support. get back up to that 46.50 range. That'd be that next little upside target I'd look for. If you can break up with some strong pressure, probably turn that 1 hour candle here on that platinum pocket into some support and really break back up to this order block, small order block that's sitting right there. We got Bitcoin Husker, yeah, or just crypto Husker in general. I am more of a Bitcoin guy though. I see maybe a Band-Aid in the chat. Good morning to you, maybe a Band-Aid. Hope you're having a great day. Let me get that emoji for you coming in the chat. All right. We did have ENA requested. We had ADA requested, so let's hop over to ADA. I did watch that yesterday to see if my TA kind of played out, and it did quite nicely get back down to that, get back to some levels that I was looking at. We did see that rejection off of the 50% line that I had talked about, came back down to 70. That 76-cent range that I was talking about from yesterday. We're unable to maintain it for a brief second, but as soon as we got below it, saw heavy buying pressure the whole time. Looking to kind of keep that push back up here and really turn this into some strong support. You do have that curvature on our prime oscillator here. It is green, so seeing a nice little bounce off of this to continue back up to our 50% fib line would be a nice move to see. Crypto Billy dropping those Billy Goat Tails emojis. If you are a member, go ahead, drop those Billy Goat Tail emojis in the chat there. We do see that MACD looking like it's got some light sideways movements here, so might be playing with that indicator line for a little while as we cool things off just a bit. Volume is starting to pick back up here. True 7 on its way back up, so might see that nice little bouncing range here at that 76 before we really make that push back up. Let's zoom on out to that 4 hour, see what we're seeing, and as you can see, that MACD still making that push back off of our indicator line. Did make a brief move towards it, got that move back up here. Prime oscillator did see a bit of some red. We are getting curvature back to the upside here as volume is holding quite steady off of that news that we might get an ADA ETF. You have a bit of a strong area of resistance right above us at about 80 cents there. Let's get that drawn out a little thicker because it is a higher term time frame. There we go. That's that 80-cent range that we might need to see a little bit of faltering at, see some sideways movement as we cool off some of those oscillators on our shorter term time frame. You can kind of see it is getting quite toppy as we make that push to it. So once we get that drop back down, cool things off quite heavily, get that push back up to 80 cents, we might see it overheated again and in a need for some cool off. That 80-cent range is going to be that first area I'd look at, and then above that going to be that 50% line at about 82 cents. We will need to turn that into some support with some higher term time frame candles before we get that blast back up to here and 86 cents. We haven't been up at that area in quite a while. It was a strong support area though, so to see us reject off of that might be that next move to make once we can get back above this 50% line on our fib retracement. Altcoin ETFs will be a top signal. Most definitely their LBC. I kind of agree with that. You might see that last little push back up as people try to, get that buying pressure going in. Oh, it's good news. ETF on Solana here and potentially August, and then you might see it falter just a bit and some strong sell-off, especially since all those people that have been in will be like, I don't know if I'm going to see much more profit than this. They'll ride that last little push in and then they'll sell off on all these people that are buying up on the ETF news. All right, we did have B3 talked about, so I haven't taken a look at that. I know username says he doesn't recommend it. It is a base play, but base is doing quite nicely, and he said he was sitting up on the project. You do see us making a nice little higher low here, so let's get this drawn out from our bottom to our top, see where we might retrace to. All right, here looking like that 236 is some strong resistance here. That is 01591, where we've rejected off of quite heavily here. Do have that MACD curving back as we've broken to the top side of our zero line. Prime oscillator still looking green here as we do get that curvature back up. Money flow staying quite red here as you did see this downtrend, looking to kind of get that push back up though, as you can see here. Let's zoom that on in a bit more. It is getting that solid curvature back up, made a higher low on that money flow, so really looking to come back up just a bit after we confirm a bit of a higher low. You have a nice trend here of higher lows. The macro looking like some higher lows as well. Let's zoom that on out to the hourly. As you can see, higher low, looking to make a higher low here potentially. This is a bit of a fair value gap, looking to retest some of these levels that we moved through quite heavily, get some more buying up. I know you did say it is a gaming play. Gaming hasn't been doing amazing, but you know, there's always room for a brand new token to get that move back up to the upside. If you do see us lose this 50% line, that golden pocket would be a nice strong bouncing area. That's 0.151, which would be a nice little move to make here. It would technically still be a macro higher low, because our low is way back here underneath that platinum pocket, and this could just be a potential low. That is not the actual low for that move to continue to the upside. I might watch this and see what it does. I don't like to see those. I don't like to buy in on those initial launches unless I have a lot of confidence in there. But nice catch by you, username. Jesse, great hearing you on Billy Goat Tales last night, says Alexandra G. I loved being on, says Jesse. All right, we have all those Billy Goat Tail emojis in the chat. We've got username saying good morning to Alexandra G. Lunar Beaches saying good morning to Alexandra G as well. Drop those Mod Queen emojis in the chat if you got them. I see her everywhere. I appreciate her so much. Always dropping those useful links in the chat. Ooh, that's B3, says Jesse. I've seen that one. Of course you have. You're a degen, sir. I've never heard of it in my life. I've never paid attention to a base play at all. Even though Base Network does amazing things, I don't like that it doesn't have a an actual token. So that really pushed me out of it. So let's take a look at Bitcoin on that 5 minute, because that was requested here. I normally don't drop that far down to the 5 minutes. I normally stick it out at that 15 minute because I normally do more of those longer term plays. You have that 5 minute bumping up against that resistance area I had talked about. Crypto City. Word, great morning to Alexandra G. Good morning to you, Crypto City. Hope you're having a great morning as well. You do see that volume trying to hold steady here on our shorter term time frames. You have that prime oscillator getting a bit of some curvature here, but to see a bit of a continuation of this trend, you might need to have some heavy some sell off here to really cool off your prime oscillator just a bit more to really have that pushback to the upside. That's where you've got some nice levels down here at about 95,900 to almost 96,000, which would be a strong bouncing point. That's really, we got that in a strong bounce here at 96,000 before we tried to get back up to that 96,400, which has been some strong resistance. Really seeing this continue to cool off here as we are trying to make some higher lows, but this might be the little bit of a breaking point for the morning. We do have a massive area of liquidity that I talked about sitting right below us coming in at this area, so seeing us dip back down to grab all of that would be a nice move to kind of see before we really try to get that pushback up to the upside. Especially with how some of those higher term time frames were looking, you might see a bit of some sell off for the morning before we get that pushback up to the upside. Did I hear that clearly? A degen. Yes, Jesse, I said it. I meant what I said. You talk about all sorts of crazy projects that I've never heard. You make a lot of money on it, so kudos to you, but you have way more time to look at this stuff than I do. I focus on Bitcoin, and I've got like 5 other projects that I hold, and one of those is Tau, I got Near, I got Injective, I got OP as my layer 2 ETH, and then ETH. So 6 projects in total. That's all I hold. I don't do this degen stuff that you do, but you do a great job at it. So I haven't seen you really falter yet on those degen plays. You do quite nicely on them. You might have to start dropping some of those degen plays in the Discord for us before you make them. So tell us what you're looking at there. Which, if you haven't checked out, I do have that link pinned to the Piper Academy Discord. We do a lot in there for our free section. We've got a weekly meeting, which will be today at, I believe, 4:30 my time, so 5:30 Eastern time. We'll have a meeting with our free members, and that's where we do a lot of question answering. We do some more one-on-one stuff. We can help you look at charts, just anything you need help with, we're there to help. We also have that WAP upperclassmen. It's $20 a month, and you get a lot more for that. We have a DCA strategy, which has been killing it. It is quite a bargain for $20. You get those one-on-ones as well. If you need that more one-on-one information from us, you do have that ability to privately talk to us as well. So $20 a month gets you a lot. Project deep dives, exclusive sessions. Those are Monday morning so that we can talk over that DCA strategy for the week, especially with all of the new information that we will get for the week. We like to prep it all out, find out that best day to DCA, kind of take into account what data drops we might be getting, and really set a buying plan for those more long-term hodls. We do focus heavily on Bitcoin on that, but we also have some alt projects as well. I say username saying BC got a fresh cut. Yeah, I did. I grow it out for the winter, let those curls get kind of crazy, and then I just do my nice little fade for the summer. So I was hoping that we wouldn't get a bunch of snow here in Nebraska, but we did, and I'm going to be a little bit cold doing snow removal today. Not looking forward to it. It is about time for Alexo Crypto. I do have to let some of this I do have to cut this a little bit short. I got something I gotta go do here this morning before I start prepping for some snow removal. So I will see y'all in the Alexo Crypto chat here in a second. If you have the time before Alexo Crypto, go ahead and check out that Crypto Billy motivational mindset video from this morning. I mean, it's Nebraska. What did you expect? we haven't had snow this entire winter, so I was not prepared for it. I was also prepared to go back to work and be sitting in a machine and not be affected by it. So other than that, I was hoping for very minimal snow. So I hope y'all have a great morning. I will see y'all in the Alex O Crypto Chat. Make sure to check out the rest of the shows here on Piper Academy. We'll have the morning market report at 10 a.m. Trade Academy at 4 p.m. I think Crypto Nightcap might have a new time. I'm not exactly sure what that new time is though. But we also have Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto at 11 p.m. Make sure to hit that like button on the way out, as Crypto City said. And trade safe, because it's going to be a little volatile, and make sure to wake up, because today's going to be a good day. A volatile day, but a good day.